Two big stories that are dominating. Which one would you like to tackle?
Okay, so I can start off with the City Press because this is a big story regarding Home Affairs firm on Zim migrants. The Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi saying that government will not be forced to defy its own laws as pressure grows to reverse the cabinet's decision. Now, if you remember, it was the suggestion, Home Affairs Minister Aaron Motsoaledi dismissed the suggestions that his department has withdrawn its decision to end the Zimbabwean exemption permit. What happened was that the Department of Home Affairs published a statement withdrawing a directive it issued last month, although it did not expand on it, saying that basically providing clarity on the matter, saying that there should not be any impression that the decision about terminating the ZEP and then giving them a 12-month grace period to apply for other statuses, there is no withdrawal on that decision. So basically, what they're trying to do is, it's a circular that's been issued by the officials in the department as well, after a cabinet decision, which basically purports to explain what what happened with the circular regarding Zimbabwean people, migrants that are working in the country, right? And that for me is just around what happens now with South Africa. But we've always been saying this, Rofhiwa, when it comes to Zimbabwean migrants, saying that even with any foreign national in the country, there's nothing wrong with foreign nationals. What South Africa has got a problem with is undocumented, illegal foreign nationals in the country.
Absolutely.
Where we're not being able to tighten up the grip on that and be able to regulate the procedure of who comes into the country. And it's not a South Africa thing. It is a global phenomenon. Anybody that goes into a different country needs to be documented and needs to be there for a specific purpose. And so the government issuing this directive is trying to almost get control over the situation.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of controversy during the week around the story, Faith, and we actually had a viewer, Tim Namo, write to us about the dynamics of this and the reason that these Zimbabwean professionals are now taking government to court. He says, so he's given scenarios about what exactly this is. I'll read it very briefly. So let's take this a step further. This is just a continuation of the email. A non-citizen has been in South Africa for more than 10 years because of a special dispensation made by different sitting ministers at Home Affairs in line with provisions of relevant legal instruments. Said non-citizen has not committed any crimes or done anything improper. In the past, the non-citizen has had their stay extended through non-specific intervention or request lodged with the then sitting minister. Then on a whim, it's decided that that citizen is to be evicted from South Africa with no alternative arrangements. And he asked the question, is this action reasonable? And that is essentially what they're saying from their side is happening to them. So there's that side about regulating the people that are working in the country or staying in the country, but also the question of, is it fair to just up and decide when your term is done, get out of here?
Or reapply.
Yes.
Right, so when your term is done, reapply. And it's always going to be a contentious one. It's just given the fact that South Africa is still seen as the place where you get economic opportunities, right? A lot of people come into the country for economic opportunity, or economic reprieve, and so it is a developing and ongoing story. But I say one thing again, I think South Africa is past the point of crisis when it comes to being able to regulate people that come into the country, because that's how illegal foreign nationals come into South Africa.
What do we call them? We've got porous borders.
100%.
And there was an effort by the Department of Infrastructure to build that wall, which turned out to be a disaster. There is currently an investigation into how that tender process led to us getting basically a little backyard fence between 100%. South Africa and Zimbabwe. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Patricia de Lille, that minister, is handling that particular inquiry into what went wrong there, Faith. But something that we'll continue to watch. People should engage with us. We need to get a better understanding of how governments should be approaching porous borders to make sure that those who deserve to be here are here. Right?
What's going on in the Sunday World, very quickly?
So the Sunday World, we've got tears of joy for Babita's daughter. So you remember Babita Deokaran, who was brutally murdered for being a whistleblower. It says that the slain health official's only child has passed grade 10, and I find that really heartwarming, Faith, despite everything that she's been through over the last few weeks, that she was able to complete her schooling here. And of course, the family is still calling for justice for the whistleblower. And one question that remains, Faith, one that's constantly asked, is policy around whistleblowers in the country. Our government has been very mum on creating an environment where people can come out and talk about injustices that are happening in various departments and be protected.
I mean, speaking about that, I remember having a conversation with the former Trillion CEO. And one thing that came about is after I think she's even released a book. And she said, if people understood what I lost during the tenure of being a whistleblower, so you do the right thing for the purpose of the country, for the good of democracy, and you lose everything. Law enforcement does not come to your aid as much as they should. And when you're finally exonerated or vindicated, that's when everybody comes back and says, actually, how can we help you? But the process of getting that justice and the process of proving that actually what I did by whistleblowing is the right thing, I think that we're still lacking behind in terms of being able to restore justice for those that are trying to uphold the law.
No, that's absolutely true. That just talks to the rot in our state systems currently in the country, and mending that rot is going to be quite the challenge. So that's what's hot off the press, your City Press Sunday World, some riveting stories that have been written there ahead of the Christmas period, some